Welcome to the C21 AI Leadership Series, where we spotlight system leaders advancing innovation and responsible AI across the Canadian education landscape. My name is Robert Martellacci, co-founder and CEO of C21 Canada, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Clarke Hagan, Chief Information Officer at Riel School Division in Manitoba. Clarke is not only leading AI transformation with LRSD, but also contributing nationally as a member of the C21 CIO Alliance, collaborating with fellow CIOs across Canada to shape practical human-centered AI leadership. And as part of round 3 of the Dell C21 AI use case project, Clarke and his team have been advancing thoughtful AI adoption journey grounded in governance, competence, and leadership. Clarke, welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon, and thank you for being part of the kickoff as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Pleasure. A little bit about Clarke. He, again, is part of the Riel School Division as CIO, where he leads strategic digital transformation and responsible AI integration in K-12 environments. With a background in education and technology leadership, Clarke is deeply committed to aligning innovation with pedagogy, equity, and student access. He was an educator at one time. He's an active member of the C21 Alliance, as I mentioned, collaborating with system technology leaders across Canada to advance best practices in AI governance and implementation. Through LRSD's participation in the C21 Dell AI use case project, Clarke has helped develop and operationalize a 5-stage human-centered AI adoption model focused on experience, momentum, governance, competence, and leadership. Wow, what a fascinating time to be in education.
Absolutely. It's changed from when I left the classroom 20-some years ago, for sure.
As both a divisional CIO and member of the CIO Alliance, how you have a unique vantage point. What initially prompted LRC to move from AI curiosity to intentional action?
Yeah, as I said, it's been, doing this in this role for almost 20 years. I've been a part of a lot of initiatives, ones that have been, different various levels of success. And this one, I think, would say it's definitely maybe rethink my role in LRSD and what we do, just because this AI is going to continue to have such an impact in education. And I'll be honest, this is the one we don't really want to get wrong. And so when I started thinking about this more, and over the past 8 to 10 months, we really started to see the human impact. And with that, and we also can think of something that happened 20 years ago with literacy with ICT, where we were just thinking about getting technology into the classroom. And we realized that, and I realized, and I speak on behalf of my CEO, Christian Michalik, we realized that we really had to get leaders on board. I'm talking about divisional leaders or school-based leaders. And with them on board, we could really move this away from being just a theoretical process into practice. And that is really what was the driving force for all of this.
Fascinating. And I'm going to try to share my screen momentarily. While you're talking about the 5 stages framework, you have a powerful model that you've developed around human-centered AI adoption with experience, momentum, governance, and competence and leadership. What inspired this structure, and how has it guided your division's journey?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I cannot narrow it down to say, had this major aha moment, but again, lately I've been doing a lot of listening and a lot of networking with people, beyond my normal circles. And I can think of 5 key either people or instances over the past little while. And so I've mentioned Christian, my CEO. He set us up saying we need to really go beyond just being leaders, and we have to also embrace and be learners as well. And network with people that you would not normally consider being someone that you could learn from, right? And so that really set the tone. That was the initial nudge. Katina Popolkas from Dell. I consider her an AI mentor of mine. She also kind of helped me and the division realize like it gave us a starting point, starting kind of a structure. And then a few other people too. So I work with someone. We have a data strategy officer. Her name's Marnie Wilson, and she has been key with our whole idea of data governance. And because when you consider AI, you need data governance, and that's why governance is one of the pieces or phases in this model. And then we've also been working with a staff wellness consultant. Her name's Rosa Gray. She's an outsider, not part of officially Riel, but she really framed this as everything we're doing here, we have to consider staff and their wellness, and
Hmm.
everything we're going to do is going to have an impact. Even something as you can think like, is data governance going to really impact people? And the answer is yes, it is. Or is AI guidelines, is that going to have an impact on their wellness? And absolutely, we need to consider this in all that we do. And so
Right.
that really focused that. And then the last, I'm not just saying this because I'm on your podcast, but it's
Right.
you, because you invited me to be on this December panel and
Right.
answer some questions. And I'll be honest, that really gave me had to reflect on what we were doing so far. And that
Hmm.
was that last moment where after that, in December, late December, I rewrote our entire AI guidelines because it really
Fascinating.
changed all of this into what is on that screen there about how we have to consider we have to consider it has to be meaningful when we think of AI, and you can't do that unless you have governance is part of that process. And it can be, governance can be very challenging because it's not always understood, and it can also have a negative context to it.
Absolutely, and I'm humbled by your kind words. And it really it speaks to the notion of the diffusion model and sharing. When you're sharing beyond your school systems,
Hmm.
that it's a reciprocal learning process, is it not?
Absolutely, it really is. I mean, it's if you have that moment, and if you don't have a takeaway from that, I think you're not quite doing it right, because every interaction I've had in the past little while, I can't think of how many great nuggets of information that I've been able to parse from it. It's been fantastic.
Many organizations get stuck at the experimentation level. How did LRC move from early enthusiasm to structured governance and embedded practice?
Yeah, experimentation is a great process because it leads to then to you get that momentum, and you get innovation, and it's really exciting. And it's where there's a bit of timing in all of this. And I've mentioned governance before, where many times it's this document that you say, here's the rules that we're going to obey or guide us. And if the trick here is to not make governance, you need to make it appealing and not restrictive. And you do that by helping the people understand the how and the why. And so we made a decision, and after December, we made a decision. It's like, okay, and this is why it was the rewrite I was talking about, is because we're saying AI is now using AI as an extension of your role in the organization. So in other words, whatever access of data, this is where governance comes into play here. Whatever access to any specific data that you have, so will your use of AI if you use it inside of this governance model. And so part of that comes from trust. And so for me, from my chair, I have to trust Microsoft in the case, because we are a Microsoft shop over here. So I have to trust Microsoft
Right.
that our enterprise AI is going to allow us to do all that. And from that, and once it's embedded into the role of the person, now you're putting AI into practice where they can actually use it for things that affect their day to day, that are those challenges that, again, then it cascades down to like that's impacting their wellness, and now they can see a way maybe through and improvement.
Fascinating. LRSD has introduced AI agents like Leap, Atlas, and Chalk to support staff and students. What design principles ensure that these tools enhance professional expertise rather than replace it?
Yeah, and that's really important, because the agents are designed to be to tackle a problem. So it's not AI is this fancy tool. So all these agents that we're building, and we have 3 of them out there right now, and we have about 4 or 5 more in the development right now as we speak. They're tied to a problem or an obstacle, or it's a resource constraint that is impacting a certain group of people or their role or what have you. And so it's not designed in a bubble, or it's not from top down. It's based on conversation. So in other words, we go out and we listen and we meet with people and say, where are your hard rocks right now that you can't get past? And they talk about it and say, well, okay, if we can find a way to get past that leveraging AI, we'll build you a custom agent. We're going to need your help with that. But to answer your question directly, our agents are grounded. So there's an oversimplification is there's 2 main elements to an agent. Obviously, there's the knowledge that it has, and then there is the instructions. And the instructions really is its DNA of its personality, if you want to think of it that way. And what we're saying in our agents, we're programming into our agents. We're saying like, you're here as to assist, let's say a Manitoba teacher. You're here to create lessons or what have you, but you are a thinking partner. You're not just a content generator. So, and they're grounded in all of our Manitoba, all of the there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of great resources made by our government that nobody has time to read. And so we also tell it things like, you are to operate in a human-centered philosophy. You're here to solve problems.
Amazing.
Humans lead, AI will only assist. And the big thing there is it also is told to adjust to their comfort level of AI. So if someone says, I'm really proficient in AI, it's going to jump to, here's how I'm going to help you. If someone says, I don't even understand what I'm supposed to be doing here, the AI is saying, okay, we're going to slow down and we're going to help build up and find these small steps to get you through to just solve the most immediate problem. So we're kind of programming into the agent itself to be adaptive and be that guide, so to speak.
Fascinating, leading edge stuff. I'm so impressed, and that's part of the AI use case, and we look forward to learning more and diffusing strategy around inspiring others beyond your district. What were the most important investments, professional learning, infrastructure, culture building that helped your teams develop AI competence and confidence?
Yeah, and we're still doing it. Like, I mean, it is we're just getting these agents out the door, and so honestly, right now it's conversations. I mean it. Listening to staff. I've been meeting with student service teachers and learning so much, and it's new frontier for me. And listening to like their struggles. So we're doing a lot of surveying, a lot of gathering feedback, qualitative feedback to understand their worries, and then understanding what the impact could be if we could take some things off of their plates or help them to get certain things done, because they're saying there are things that I can't even get to. They're saying the parts that from student services. I'll just one example. Mm-hmm. They're saying I can't even. My job is to connect with the students, but I got all these reports over here to write. That's taking the bulk of my time. And what we're hoping is with Leap, one of the agents we're building, and it's in beta right now, it flips that so that now the building relationships is not off the side of their desk. That's their main focus now, and we have a tool over here that can help them get through all those that report writing. So it's about having that positive impact.
I just shared this morning a report that Tom D'Amico shared about a study that found over 70% of educators across the country are struggling with implementing AI because of the lack of upskilling and lack of the tools, one platform to work with. There's a lot of fragmentation. It reminds me of, I've been in that tech for over 30 years. So early days when we're just getting on computers to the iPad to personal PCs. This is a new technology, but it is moving at a pace that is unparalleled, isn't it? So what advice do you offer others in your role or educators in just managing this all? Because it is overwhelming.
It is, and it causes us to just freeze. I
Right.
get it. I know exactly what you're what you're talking about there. Um, I guess the advice I would say is it's never too late to start, because this is where you start. You're going to start when you're ready, because it's tied to your culture and of your organization. So if you have kind of been paralyzed because you were unsure, that's okay, and just find something and start going. And one thing that is data governance is really, really important. And data governance has been important for forever. And I'm projecting. I don't want to project my own what we've done here and say that's what it's the same for
Right.
everybody. But we were not doing a very good job in data governance and not making it a priority. And because we're doing that alongside of, because AI, you can't really exist without data, obviously. And so by doing that, that's an important aspect. But the really most important thing is, my one big advice is, don't treat AI as a technology project. Treat it as it's more about its leadership and culture initiative project
Mhm.
that just happens to involve technology, because this is more than technology. This is actually going to impact everybody's day to day in a way that it is a culture changing event.
With that, Clarke Hagan, CIO, LRSD, thank you for sharing both your divisional journey and your national leadership perspective. Your work reminds us that AI adoption is not a technology project. It's about leadership and being
Mm.
grounded in people, purpose, and practice.
Yeah.
We're grateful for your contribution to the C21 CIO Alliance and LRC's leadership in round 3 of the Dell AI use case projects. To our listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of the C21 Canada AI Leadership Series. Stay connected with us by spotlighting leaders shaping the future of learning responsibly and in a human-centered way. Be sure to check out c21canada.org to get your free resources on the AI use cases and the task force report. My name is Robert Martellacci. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.